Hello, and welcome back to Factorio Vanilla 1.0. In our last episode, we finally got some oil running back and forth from these two outposts and the new base station that we built. And so now we need to actually set up oil processing and get moving on Blue Science. So first off, I need to put away these pump jacks because I don't need to carry them around. So we'll just put them in there. There's other junk that I want to get rid of in my junk chest at the top, but to start with, let's grab, sure, all 40 of the chemical plants. And we will grab, I don't need that many to start with, maybe just 10 oil refineries. We do have plenty of tanks, we do have plenty of pumps. Let's see, what else do we need? Belts, we're good, undergrounds, we're good. Power poles. We could potentially use some more power poles. What about lamps? And lamps. There's lamps. Because I'm going to try to put down the lamps. Try to remember. Take 50 of those. I'm going to take some repair packs, but probably not that many. I have some of those back. We'll keep a stack. There was something else I was just thinking of before I clicked on repair packs that I wanted to grab, and now... Oh, radars. Yes, radars. Oh, they're right next to... Yeah, right next to those. That's why I thought of them. Okay, anything else? We probably need more pipe-related shenanigans. Yes, we do. Let's grab a bunch of those. We need a lot of undergrounds. And maybe another 100 pipes. We probably don't need a lot of straight pipes, but... maybe another 100. We're not that far from the base, so if I have forgotten anything, I can come back and get them. Let's see, inserters? Maybe some more blue inserters. Guess that's all I can have. Need to get rid of this junk. Junk chest. Ugh, junk chest is almost full. Do. That was a good idea. Okay. That's probably fine. So where I want to set oil up is right in here. And I think I want to set it up... Ooh, I know what I could do. Something different that I haven't done. I could do a central bus. Central fluid bus here with stuff on either side. I've never done that before with oil, so let's try that. So let's pretend that here's where the crude oil comes out because, well, it does. Although I might want to put a pump in. Let me do this differently. Let's put a pump in right here. Pump. Wait, here, pumps. There we go. And this will be the central part of the fluid bus here. And then, on either side of that, we'll want to have, I usually leave a space, we'll want to have a pipe for heavy oil, a pipe for light oil, a pipe for petroleum, a pipe for lube, a pipe for sulfuric acid, and a pipe for water. And we need to bring the water over from the coastline. So that should be all the fluids we need here on this fluid bus. And the crazy idea of this that I have of this is if I have all the fluids here running this way, they can run literally right onto the bus where I need them to run. And then the solids can also do the same. They can run parallel to the bus as well. So we can have a belt of sulfuric acid going, or sulfur, excuse me, sulfuric acid, sulfur going out. We can have a belt of, oopsie, iron coming in to make this sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid. On this side. And then on this side, we can have, let me think here. One coal makes 2 plastics. So let's plan for 2 belts of plastic out and 1 belt of coal in. And they'll get upgraded eventually to red belts and perhaps more. But at least that's the space that I'll need for this. Now, for this, I also want to have power along this bus. So I'm going to put it here in line with the crude oil. In reality, I should just bring this all the way down to the main bus and tie it in there, as well as where I have it, which is to the west a little bit, where we started. Oopsie. I'm going to stop there for now. Okay, so let's start setting up assemblies for oil. Excuse me, sorry. The first thing we need to do is the refineries. And I'm going to give myself... Oh, you know what I didn't think about? I need to move down. Down, down, down. I can't start that high because... I want to be able to have more stations in here. So let's... let me do a little bit of sort of planning here. I shift-clicked on that so that I could get what I wanted out of this here. So that would be 3 stations. Maybe 4 stations would be enough here worth of space. So I want to basically put all of this starting right here instead. And I'm just going to put the blueprint down and whatever. The pipe will have to come through there. But the belts or the one pipe, the crude oil pipe will have to come through there, but the rest of the stuff won't need to. And I'm planning ahead, by the way. For anybody who's new, we're not going to use all these pipes right away, but I know what's coming, so I'm in advanced oil processing, so I'm kind of planning ahead for all of that. I probably won't even use all of these, so it should be fine where it is. Okay, oil refineries. Let's start this down here somewhere. Maybe there. And then I always like to leave a space between them, and that's for a power pole, and when I remember it, a light. And then I want to grab this power here and just bring it straight into that. And power that up. And then the recipe that I want to pick is the only one available right now, but that is basic oil processing. And that just gives us petroleum from the crude oil. And it's a very bad ratio, but it's the one we start with. So let's do... I want to do 10 of these. There is a sort of perfect ratio, and I'm not counting, so we're going to have to count them. That's 8. There is a perfect ratio for oil processing. The ratio is not truly there for basic oil processing, but it is there for the advanced oil processing, and that ratio needs a multiple of 10 refineries. So that's why I'm doing 10 refineries. There's more of these rocks here because we're going to need this space cleared anyway. So you can see that right now the refineries have one input and one output with the blue arrow on it and with a fluid marked on it. And you can also see that there are 2 more inputs, so you can kind of see there are 2 more inputs, or 1 more input. There's 2 here, and 2 more outputs that are available for later, and that's for the advanced recipes. So what I want to do here is I want to bring the crude oil in using, and I guess I should have done this when I was blueprinting it, but we don't have bots to do this for us anyways. So, and yes, I stretched beyond the length of the pipe. Did that on purpose. I'm going to bring this in a little bit, I think. Let's go here and then here. So now that refinery has crude oil and it has started processing. It will process until this output is full, and then it will stop processing. And we want to finish this so that, and it already is full, because we don't have any output pipes or anything, so it just filled up the output in a couple of cycles. But we have this now. Oopsie. And now they all have basic oil processing. Now I'm gonna do this just so that I can blueprint it down, but this is what I want, more or less. Oops. That way I can use the blueprint as a guide. But I'm going to do the same on the output here as we did on the input, and that is to bring all of the petroleum gas together into one pipeline. Oh, come on, Wally. And you notice I left the undergrounds on the end. And the reason I did that is in case we wanted to have more than 10 in a line, we could. One pipe of crude oil can support... one pipe of crude oil, if we can get that much coming in on the trains, is 1,200 crude oil per second. These refineries use 100 crude oil per 5 seconds, so 20 crude oil per second, at a crafting speed, as you can see over here, of 1. So that means that we can support 1,200 divided by 20, which is 60 refineries on one pipe of crude oil. Now, of course, we're not going to have that much coming in. We're not pumping that much. We're pumping... I'm going to do some quick estimation math here. If I remember the way these work correctly, which I could go out and double check, but if I remember the way these work correctly, that's about 800. That's a little over 800. And that's a little over 800. Let's say I'm getting about 250 oil per second. So I can only support 250 divided by 20, which is just about 12 refineries. So this is actually a good number. Nice. Okay, so I want to put plastic here because I put the belts for the coal and the plastic out on excuse me, on this side of the fluid or oil bus, I guess I should say, oil product bus. So I want to put the plastic here, and I'm not bothered by saying that I want to crowd out the refineries too much. But I do want to reserve a little bit of space for them. And by the way, we need to reserve space for all the pipes too. So we need to have space for this and space for this here. And then, of course, space for space because you don't want these things bumping into each other. But I'm not going to worry about space for beacons on this map or on this area. If we're going to do a beacon to oil setup, I'm going to do an outpost. So I'm going to just go ahead and put them one space away like this. And that will be where the second line of refineries can go. And again, like I said, we can go out to 20 or more in a line. We can go out to 60 in a line, honestly, but if we had that much crude coming in. But for here, we need to set up chemical plants to make plastic. Let's go there, I think. And we're going to make plastic. I guess I should have kept it open. Plastic uses 1 coal and 20 petroleum gas to make 2 plastic bars. So let's say we want to have one full yellow belt of plastic for now. In order to make one full yellow belt of plastic, we'll need to have a half a belt of coal coming in because it's 2 to 1. And in order to make one full yellow belt of plastic, we'll need to have 15 plastic per second being produced because that's the speed of a yellow belt. So plastic is produced at 2 per 1 second, as you can see down there. Chemical plants operate at crafting speed 1. So that means we need to have 15 divided by 2, which is 8 refineries, chemical plants. Do I want to do the pair method? Yeah, let's do the pairing. Oops, didn't want to delete that one. Let's do the 2x2 method here. Because that way I can put the power lines in like that. And we first need the big power line. Oh, good, it's right here. Coming in right here. And we need lamps, of course, so we can see what we're doing. So we need to have 8 chemical plants to make 1 belt of plastic, because 15 divided by 2 rounds up to 8. What I want to do for this is I want to actually just copy these 4 and make it over there. And there's a few different ways that you can do a setup for plastic. Well, first off, let's go ahead and put down at least these pipes here, pairing these two together, because I will probably do undergrounds here. But before I do those, I wanted to talk about this. Sometimes you can do, okay, I want to output the plastic on a belt that runs this, that runs this way. And I want to bring the coal in on a belt that runs this way. You can do that, and then you can say, okay, I want to output like this, and I want to input coal like this from the center belt, and then you can set up another line over here with the exact same arrangement as these. Yeah, right there, and mirror it, and use that one coal belt with those two plastic belts. That works really, really well, and that's one way to do this, and I've done that before. Actually, I think multiple times. Another way, let's just pretend that these two belts aren't here, and you only have one belt of plastic going out. For this one, you can do coal coming in, not there, here, because you would have underflowies here, and then you can have a belt coming in of coal like this. The issue with this method is you either then want to split your coal belt into two lines. What I should, I guess, have done is taken these out completely so I could demonstrate it better. And then you can take a mirror of this here and output it onto that same belt, and then you need to output a second coal line in here, and then you have to split your coal line, and that only makes one belt of plastic then. Or you could do something like this, and I'm not going to put it down because I can't without removing that other thing, but you could do something like this, where you share the coal belt in between the two, and then you output the plastic on either side. In this method here, or the method where we started out with them here, and had the middle belt being coal and the... Actually, I'm too far away. Too far away. And had the middle belt being coal and the output belts here of plastic, then you're only going to be outputting onto one side of the belt. And at that point, you need to have something to turn the belt around, like we've done before, something like this, in order to bring the back half of the belt on, or the starting half of the belt into the inside side of the belt, so you can have the two-sided belt. You could do this method in this situation, or in this situation you could also do the splitter method that we've talked about before as well, where you just do an output priority to the left, and it forces as much as it can of these chemical plants onto the inside side, and then the rest of it can go through, and it blocks these, but who cares, because you still only have as many chemical plants running as you need products coming out. So either of these methods works. The splitter method is technically more expensive because a splitter costs five plates plus 4 belts plus 5 circuits, whereas the belt method just costs us 3 extra belts, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4 belts here. And in this method, the splitter is here, and there's a belt here, so there's 1 belt, so it's 3 extra belts. So you can see that the splitter method is actually more expensive. So this works perfectly well. So I think as I've been talking through this, I've been hemming and hawing about what I wanted to do, and I think I'm going to do this method again. And there's a reason for it. The reason for it is, A, we don't need blue inserters. I mean, we could use yellows too, I guess, bringing the coal in. We don't need blue inserters bringing in the coal. The other reason is underground pipes cost 10 pipes plus 5 iron plates. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's only 5 pipes of space between these pipes. So it's actually cheaper to just go ahead and put down a row of pipes. Now the flaw here is I'm not using the mod squeak through, so I can't run through those pipes. I have to go around the assembly, but I think that's okay. So we're only going to set up one of these arrays right now, and we're going to use we'll leave the other one blueprinted down there and set that up later when we want a second belt of plastic, because we don't need it right now. So let's bring the coal belt in all the way. This can stop there. Wait, is this right? 8. Yeah, this is right. So when we upgrade to red belts, which are twice as fast as yellow belts, all we'll do is grab this whole thing here and stamp it down over here. And double the length, move that squiggly thing into the new middle, and then we will have a red belt of plastic being made for each one of these. So I'm going to go ahead and put this here so that I remember to do it later. And that'll be the second yellow belt worth of plastic. So we have the belts here. I obviously don't need them all the way up here. But let's cut those. Did I want to cut? Yeah, I can cut them. That's fine. Cut them, bring them down here. And given the way that I've laid this out, maybe I want to have the coal in the middle instead of being on the outside. Because then I can just do that. And then this would be going this way. There we go. Okay, so that's, I can bring the coal up the middle and then take the plastic down the outsides, and that should work okay. It might be a little bit funky merging it with the bus, but it might also be kind of fun. Okay, so we want to have petroleum gas coming into one of these 3 pipes. I don't really care which one it is, but it needs to be one of them. And let's line this up here with that one just to make it nice, and then we'll go there, and then I'll go there. And then I need to back this up because it's positioned weird and grab a straight pipe so that we can connect it up to this line. The other thing I need on this line is a tank. And this tank is to both buffer the petroleum gas a little bit and also to allow us to measure it. And we're going to measure that with some red wire. I'll make 10. That should be enough. And I want to run this red wire from the tank to the power pole, and then between these big power poles, and then over to here, where I can't reach, where that power pole is. Get out of the way, car. And the reason I want it here next to this power pole is I want to put in a pump. And that pump is going to be in my inventory. There it is. I'm going to put it here where it's visible, which is also kind of in line with those, but it's only somewhat coincidental. And then I'm going to do, actually I'll just do straight pipes there. And then I want to bring this out to the fluid bus here. Perfect. And then this can go, excellent. And then I want to run that red wire, put it here, onto the pump. Now what this pump is going to do is it's going to read, what the signal's doing, I should say, is it's reading, okay, what is in this tank, put it on the red wire, and tell us on the red wire that there's 7 point whatever K units of petroleum gas in that tank. And as you can see, it keeps going up because we keep filling it up with the refineries. This pump needs to work when when the petroleum gas is greater than some number, and that number that I usually use is 1,000. The reason we're doing this is because we also need to use petroleum gas to make sulfur. And the sulfur also needs, since sulfur also needs petroleum gas, and it needs 30 per second, and the plastic needs petroleum gas, and it needs 20 per second, we need to try and share the wealth here a little bit. And the best way that I've found, both from my own experimentation and watching lots of people on YouTube and such, is to just do it this way. Put a pump in, and when the stockpile in the tank is above a certain amount, then the pump can kick on, even if only for one pulse. One tick, basically, because all pumps will kick on for one tick. Until this drops below 1,000, and then they'll kick back off again. And so we'll do the exact same thing for the pump that's connected to sulfur, which when we do sulfur, which will be over here in a little bit, and or here somewhere, I don't know exactly where I'm going to do it. And then that way this will kick on, that'll kick on, they'll make some plastic, some sulfur, and then the petroleum supply runs low, they'll kick back off again, and we'll at least get some plastic and some sulfur out of this system. Okay, so let's get plastic hooked up to the bus. I want to walk along it here like this, like I'm supposed to do. We'll do that. Plastic comes this way and goes here with the steel. Let's see, we put the steel on. Alright, so let's see, steel, steel, plastic, plastic. So this one is here. Plastic is going, almost certainly not going to go this way on the bus. We don't need it directly in the mall, as you can see by the inputs. We don't need it for green circuits. We're not going to need it over here for anything else that I know of. So I'm going to just put the plastic turning this way. So this one is going to go here, and then we're going to go this way with it. And then this other belt of plastic that's coming down here eventually, we'll do the same exact thing going this way. And that'll be fine. And then the coal needs to go up toward... Oh, this works perfectly. I couldn't have done this better if I tried. Look at that. Beautiful. The coal is going up here. Oops, wrong way. Wrong belt. Wrong way. There we go. And it's going to go this way. Now, with that one belt of coal on the bus is not going to be enough for the bus and for the plastic. But this is just for now. I will either add some more belts here of coal for the plastic later, or do something different with coal, depending on what I end up, well, doing with coal. Let's do that, and then we should be able, once the coal gets here, to actually start producing some plastic. Once the coal gets here. And I want to actually get plastic producing, and then we can set up sulfur as well. And sulfuric acid, which we'll actually need later. And we have the plastics. I love the new chemical plants. Both you can see what's kind of being made in there. Oh, there's something that's a white color being made in there. That's cool. And then the smoke coming out is, I think, based on the input. So we're burning some purpley looking material, which is the petroleum gas. So now we have plastic on both sides of the belt. Now that all of them are making, which we're probably consuming... We're maybe consuming more than we're making already of petroleum gas. Now you can see that it's basically a completely full belt. There are going to be some gaps sometimes, and that's just because of the way the inserters work, especially because... Oh, they're outputting too. We got this stack size. Oh gosh, I just realized I'm not doing any research. That was dumb. Okay, let's do something research-wise. Maybe weapon shooting speed? Yeah, let's do weapon shooting speed. We need to burn through the rest, some of those grays. But it's pretty much a full belt. There's a couple of these little gaps, but that's just because of the way the inserters work. And we'll get there eventually. Now it's backed up, so it'll be there very soon. So let's go over here and do some planning first, and then I want to set up sulfur. So let's go a little bit away again from the bus, not too much, but a little bit. And I want to stage out some space for the two cracking recipes that we don't know about yet, because I know about them. So I need to have space for pipes here, pipes there, and output pipe here. And that's for one set of cracking, and then I need another set of cracking. And like I said, we'll just pretend that we know that those recipes exist. Oops, I just want to do a blueprint. And then we need to set up a recipe for sulfur. Sulfur needs water and petroleum gas. We need to bring water in. We don't have water in here yet. But we need to have... This actually needs to look kind of the same. There. And I'm further away than I am from there. Do I care? Oh, wait a minute. I forgot about something. Move that one down. I actually need a second pipe here for another reason that I will get to later. Okay, planning ahead. without planning ahead. This is sulfur. Okay, so sulfur needs water and petroleum every second. Makes 2 sulfur. And then we need to take this sulfur and also make some of it into sulfuric acid. And so sulfuric acid takes in 5 sulfur every second, and iron and water, and makes 50 sulfuric acid per second. Now if you look at the ratio here, 5 sulfur per second is needed by this machine. 2 sulfur per second is produced by this machine. So right there you can see that you need 5 of these to make 2 of these, because 5 in one, 2 in the other is 2 and 5 and 1 in the other. 2 and... Jeez, oh Pete. 5 in one and 2 in the other is 2 and 1 and 5 in the other. It's kind of how this works out. So we have a need here for a lot more sulfur than we need for sulfuric acid. So one of the things you can do with this is you can put all your sulfuric acid that you need on one end of the bus. And actually these can be together because they are, and I'm probably just going to make the 2 at least for now. And then these need to be one separated between each because they have 2 inputs. So you can do these in such a way that you input the sulfur directly into the sulfuric acid, or you can put the sulfur out onto a belt, which is the method that I'm going to use here. Maybe. Yes, the method that I'm going to use here. And then pick it back up again to put it into these plants. And that's the method I'm going to use. So that means the iron needs to come in a different place, because we're not going to have enough room here if we're outputting this into a pipe to put down more inserters. Unless we do something different here. But I'm trying to decide if I want to do that different thing or not. And I think the answer is probably not. But I also wanted to check something else out. How much sulfur and sulfuric acid are we going to actually need here? Yeah, we're going to probably need 2 or more of these. And we're going to need a lot of these eventually. But I'm probably going to set up 4. Because we're not going to need 2 of these right away. They're going to fill up actually, I'm not even going to turn these on right away. But we need to be able to get iron in here. And the way we can get iron in here is one of 2 different ways. One, we could share this sort of pipe space here with the iron belt. But that gets kind of cluttery. So I don't want to really do that. The other method is to put some more space in here and run this pipe this way and then connect it up. No squeak through, Ollie. And then connect it up like this, bring it down, and then you can continue it down like that even. That's another option. And the third option is to, instead of outputting the sulfuric acid in this way, we can output it this way. Yeah, just one. No, we need 2. 2 spaces. We can output it this way into a pipe over here. And actually, this is the method I'm going to use this time, because then and we can bring the iron in this way, by the way. And the reason I'm going to use this method this time is because I never actually have before. And I like to do these builds differently each time. I find it to be, I mean, not each time, but I find it to be a sort of educational or a, I don't know, an interesting thing to do things a little bit differently. When you can. I mean, in some cases, actually, you can do this differently, too. We can just do that like this, and then we'll go there. Watch your feet. Okay, so that's water. And then the petroleum will come in and hit up this one right here. But I like to do the builds differently when I have opportunity, when I think of another build, or I watch somebody who does another build. I like to do them a little bit differently each time, just for my own sort of, I don't know. Flamethrowers. Let's do flamethrowers. Just for my own, like, interest or my own, I don't know, personal growth or whatever. Okay, so this is going to go here. The pump's going to go there, even though it's going to partially blocked. Or I could just do a straight pipe here so I don't have to block the pump. That's a better option. Okay, these are going to come down. to here. Iron's coming in. Good, I have the iron on this side. And then sulfur is going to go out. Oopsie. There. I'm almost out of belts. I have to go get some more belts. And then, let's see. This needs to have an output. So we'll output there. And then I want to duplicate this one. So we have 4, and that's the end of my belts. And I'm going to put a pole here on the end, and I'm going to put in some light at every power pole. Even though it's a little bit excessive, I do it anyway. Yes, so that should be good. And then we need to have this going out to the fluid bus. I can put it in this one, I suppose. Doesn't really matter. Goes there, and then I'm going to put another tank here. Actually, yeah, I'll go ahead and put the tank here. Put the tank here, and then I'm going to connect it up also to the power poles with the red wire. Now, of course, it doesn't tell us anything yet because there's nothing in it. But once we start making sulfuric acid, there will be. And then this needs to connect here. Ah, dang it. So close yet so far. I should have built that 2 tiles closer to the fluid bus. Then I wouldn't have to worry. That's not the right thing, Wally. There you go. All right. And then we need to also do red wire. Almost the same distance. So I'll just go up to that one. And then into there. And this I can just right-click, copy, or shift-right-click, copy, shift-left-click, paste. And now I'm making sulfuric acid. Or sulfur, excuse me. Once I have water. Then I'm making sulfur out of the petroleum gas as well. Flamethrower is finished. Let's do, I don't know. Ooh, rocketry. So let's go and get a pipe of water from the coast over there. And I think I'll bring it across maybe right here. Let's see, maybe I'll put the water right here. That'll work, I think. That'll be really good, actually. I may need to avoid the iron patch. I didn't think about that before I started running, but we'll just go around it if we need to. It's not going to be there forever, so it'll be fine. Okay. So what I will do is do this and that, and we're probably going to need to have a pump along this as well, which I didn't think about before I started running either. Might as well go full distance because it doesn't matter at that point. Dang it. Let's see. Offshore pump. Do I have one? I probably don't have one. Let's make one. There you are. Now what do I want to... Now do I want to be fancy or do I want to... Oh, screw it. I'll just do it. Just do it. Let's just not bother with that either. Okay, so we have... Let's see, where's 17 go? That's 13 through that corner. 14, 15, 16 is here. So let's put a pump right in here. 1, 2. Pump. And I see that the science is flashing at me. It's fine. And I'm just going to borrow power from right here. There we go. And let's go 17 here. Okay. We'll put it right in there. And then that should be enough. Down the bus. Pump. I don't know why I can never find these pumps. Okay, and then I want to do... Well, we're going to have some power here. Some power here. I can't remember exactly where these will go. But we'll just do that for now. May have to rearrange these. But probably not. I don't know. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Okay. So now we have water coming this way. And that needs to go that far for now. And then it needs to come into here. There, and there. And now we have sulfur being made. If we had enough belts, of course. Let me borrow some of these belts just so I can hook this up. What's going on? Oh, that's what's going on. Place all the pipes, Wally. All of the pipes. Oh, there's a dead trunk in the way. That wasn't in the way for anything but that one piece of pipe. So here we also need to do the turnaroundy thing. Yes. But I want to do something slightly different here as well. I want to do a balancer after this. And the reason I want to do a balancer after this is because the... I'm out of belts. And I picked up sulfur. It's because these are going to pull from this side more frequently than this side. And so I want to make sure that I... Sulfur. I want to make sure that I balance it after it so that we can fill up the whole belt going back into the base. Let's go grab some belts because even though I counted, I didn't count enough. Or even though I looked, I didn't assume enough. And we'll grab some belts. Man, we need stone fast. Okay, we have plenty of stone. We just don't have anywhere to process it. Maybe not plenty. That may be an exaggeration slightly. Okay. Bunch of belts now. And let's do some more research. Oh, I'm sure we'll do portable solar panels. We're going to actually need to use those because I do want to have a suit. And the suit that I want to have is going to have... that's the end of that one. It's going to have some solar panels in it because we're not going to have the other methods of powering your personal suit for personal robots anytime soon. Alright, so this is sulfur coming in, and this will be iron or plates coming out. Sulfur I put on this bus right here. Yeah. And so that'll go there, and then we'll need to have the stone bricks going under there, and then this can go there. Now, do these need to split? That's the only question. They do not. We do not need sulfur crystals over here anywhere. So I'm just going to make that turn. That'll be fine. Then the next piece, I want to go ahead and set up the iron, and the iron I put on this side. Okay, so we need a splitter here. And before I split, I want to have a shifter to make sure that this belt is full, because remember, we're stealing off of this belt most of the time. But we need to shift it the opposite direction, and then this will shift it back in the direction in order to make sure that that belt is full. There. There. This is working out really nice. And then this will be the iron for making the sulfuric acid that I don't actually make yet. I'm going to disconnect this belt, which means I'm going to come back up here and reconnect it, but that's fine because we're going to come up here and reconnect or connect all this stuff up, and I'll probably do it then. But I don't want to make it yet because I want the sulfur crystals to join the plastic on the bus as much as possible because we need them both to make blue science. And this is a bit of a longer episode than I have normally made for this series, but I wanted to make sure that I got that far. And then I want to, in the next episode, make the red circuits and then get the blue science running and do some of the blue science research. Night vision equipment will be nice to have. So we're going to leave this here, and we'll do those things in the next episode. So thank you all for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.